All right, I want to talk a little bit about how we train our abdominals and how it relates to performance. So, with our young athletes, we're going to bring them in. Oh, and then up top here, core and abs basically interchangeable. Remember, you have your abs that you can see. So that would be your rectus abdominis. That's your six pack. You have your obliques on the side that you can see. And then underneath that, you also have a lot of smaller muscles that help to create stability. Your transverse abdominis is kind of like a little weight. It's kind of like a weight belt that wraps around yourself three-dimensionally. And then you have your internal obliques and a couple other smaller muscles. So that's core and abs. And then trunk would be just basically integrating your lats, your lower back, and then all the muscles of the trunk, your hips, in with the abdominals, and it creates basically, that's an integrated approach to training the abdominals. So, number one would be stability, and I think that stability got thrown around a lot for the past 10 years or 15 years in the fitness industry, and everyone was on the stability craze where it was planks at all times. There was always anti-rotation, Pallof presses, all that stuff. And all that stuff is good, but I think it was overdone from what I've seen, and we kind of get away from that. So we do it, and we make sure that we're able to be stable and to be able to resist letting your spine rotate, letting your spine go into extension. But in the end of the day, in terms of performance, you have to be strong in all sorts of range of motion. You can't just be able to resist movement. So, but that is where you technically start. So if you can't do a good plank, you should probably just work on planks until you can do a good plank. And then from there, you can move on from there. But with our young athletes, they usually come in, they're pretty good at planks. So we move on quick. As long as they could do that, we always do some carries, some direct ab work along with it. So we basically train all three of these integrated stability, direct ab work, and stability all together in each workout. So we might do a plank, a front plank, a single arm carry, and then some sit-ups right after it. So we're really attacking the abs and the trunk in a multifaceted approach. So that's basically how we attack that stuff. Now, I'll maybe do a couple videos on each one and all different things you could do. But from there, we have to think about being able to be safe when lifting something really heavy, because that's a big part of our program. So lifting something heavy is going to be about bracing and creating inner abdominal pressure. So that's why a weight belt technically makes you safer if you use it correctly, and why it gives you ability to lift more weight with it on, because it is giving you leverage. Because when you put a weight belt on, you're pushing into that weight belt and creating tension all the way around your whole trunk. So you want to be able to push out through the obliques, push out in the front, and you're just creating pressure three-dimensionally around your whole trunk, which really locks your spine into position and creates more leverage for you to lift a lot of weight. But that's basically like an introduction, a rundown of how we do our abdominal training. In the past couple of years, I've definitely gotten more away from stability and more into, we've always done a lot of this stuff with strongman training and carrying sandbags and kettlebells and single arm carries and whatever, all this stuff. But we also now have been doing a lot more direct low back and direct ab work. I did a whole video on the back extensions and why we do them and inverse hypers, but that would be more like direct low back work. But direct ab work we've done a lot more of, and we've had great success with it in our program. I think it's just something that too many athletes have gotten away from in favor of like basic planking and stuff. But once you get good at this stuff, you're good at it. You don't need to come back. You come back a little bit to it every so often, but you don't need to keep doing planks upon planks upon planks upon planks. It just gets to be useless, and you're not getting any better from it. So, to finish up, we've done a lot more direct ab work, less stability work, but we need to make sure that they're good at the stability stuff first before we move on from it. And usually they do it. They get good at it really quick. Stability. I have push-ups here because this is important with push-ups. If you see a lot of young kids, they can't do push-ups well because they have no stability in their lower back and in their abdominals. So their push-ups are really horrible. Their hips sag down to the ground or their butt sticks up in the air because they can't lock in that neutral spine position. So basically, that's it. That's basically that's a general oversight of how we train the abs. And then what I'll do is I'll make a video on different types of variations here and here and here, and then proper way to use a weight belt.